Hello everyone. Today, I'll continue sharing the story about the single mother, Diệu Hân. Wish you all a pleasant time watching this video. The coffee season has arrived here. Rolling hills are draped in a new coat of color, bright red with clusters of plump ripe cherries. Morning dew still clings to the leaves. Each sparkling droplet catches the first light of day, making the entire hillside glow. The faint, sweet scent of ripe coffee lingers in the breeze, gentle yet rich, blending with the cheerful chirping of forest birds to create a seasonal symphony that is both peaceful and lively. In the village, everyone starts preparing from dawn. Some adjust new burlap sacks still smelling of fresh fiber. Others check their sturdy woven baskets. A few households already have motorbikes lined up in front, ready to transport coffee to the collection point. After a year of hard work, caring from the first white blossoms to the fruiting stage, everyone is filled with anticipation. They quietly hope for a bountiful harvest to make up for long months of scorching sun, heavy rain, and endless worry about unpredictable weather. Today, Han joins Miss Kwa to gather coffee. The two walk on a familiar narrow slope, the ground still damp from the night's dew, cool and soft underfoot. Coffee leaves brush lightly against their shoulders, swaying as if to greet the pickers. Standing before rows of ripe red coffee trees, Han can't help but marvel. Each branch is laden with round cherries, bright and lustrous like tiny rubies. Just a gentle touch sends the ripe fruit tumbling into the basket below, creating a delightful sound. Han begins picking, her hands moving swiftly as she chats with Miss Kwa. They talk about how last month's heavy rain made the slopes slippery, causing a few villagers to fall. Then they recall how a giant old coffee tree behind Mr. Kim and his house bore unusually large cherries, surprising the entire village. One story leads to another. Laughter echoes in the warm sunlight, making the hard work feel easy. Occasionally a breeze blows through, fluttering Han's shirt. She lifts her head to the bright blue sky and suddenly feels at peace. Though the sun is strong and her hands grow tired, she doesn't feel weary at all. Instead, Han feels joyful, as if she's become one with the mountains, the wind, and the sweet scent of coffee. Perhaps the harvest season always brings new hope, or maybe working alongside kind, warm-hearted people makes her soul lighter. At the foot of the hill, people start gathering their coffee. Tightly bound sacks stand neatly in long rows. Han looks at them with excitement. She imagines villagers counting their earnings, eyes sparkling as their year-long effort finally pays off. Family meals filled with laughter, new clothing for children, fireworks welcoming the new year. These images play vividly in her mind. She silently wishes for a smooth harvest, so that everyone can enjoy a prosperous and plentiful Tet. The sun climbs higher, and the atmosphere grows livelier. A few elderly men rest under the shade, sipping hot tea before returning to gather more coffee. Village children run across the yard, holding coffee cherries like toys, laughing as they help adults pick up fallen fruit. The scene is simple yet warmly beautiful. Miss Kwa wipes the sweat from her forehead and looks at Han lovingly. "If you keep working this hard, next year I'll make you my official partner." Han laughs, cheeks flushed in the sun. "I'm happy to. Picking coffee is way more fun than I expected." The wind carries the sweet aroma of coffee once again. Laughter blends with rustling leaves and birdsong from the tall trees. A new day passes in the mountains, full of hope. Joy born from small, simple things spreads everywhere, leaving in Han's heart a feeling she'll never forget: warmth, peace, and contentment. While harvesting, just as the sun rose above the ridge, Han moved quickly between rows of heavy-burdened coffee trees. She picked eagerly. Her basket was already more than half full. Dew-soaked soil made the ground slippery, but Han kept going, energized by the promise of a good season. Suddenly, stepping toward the next bush, her foot landed on loose soil. She lost balance, slipping and collapsing to the ground. A sharp pain shot from her ankle up her leg, forcing her to gasp, her face turning pale. ripe red cherries scattered around her. "Ah, it hurts," she whispered, clutching her ankle. Hearing her cry, Miss Kwa rushed over. "Hun, are you all right?" Han forced a smile, though sweat beaded on her forehead. "I think I twisted my ankle." Miss Kwa examined her ankle. It was swelling quickly, reddening. Dirt clung to her pants, making the injury more visible. Miss Kwa cleaned it gently and massaged around the swelling. Han bit her lip, gripping the basket beside her. "Does it hurt a lot?" "Yes." A sharp pain running down. Worried, Miss Kwa called nearby helpers. "Please, someone help me get Han down to the shed." 2 elders rushed over, carefully lifting her. Each step was slow. Every time her foot touched the ground, pain shot up her leg, forcing her to grit her teeth. They brought her to a wooden platform inside the shed. Her ankle was now noticeably swollen. Someone called for oil. Another brought warm water. The cheerful atmosphere quieted. Concern filled the space. Miss Kwa whispered. Luckily, it smiled. "Rest a bit and warm compress, it'll get better. Don't come tomorrow. I'll ask someone to help instead." Han nodded, smiling faintly despite the pain. "Sorry for troubling everyone." An elder patted her shoulder kindly. "No worries, child. Twisting your ankle is common here. When I was young, I sprained my foot but still carried 2 sacks down to the market." Everyone laughed, easing the tension. A woman brought warm water and gently placed it on her ankle. The warmth spread, soothing her pain. Sitting in the shed, Han watched others continue harvesting. She sighed, sad she couldn't help anymore, but also touched. Even a small injury brought genuine care. Wind from the hillside carried the rich scent of ripe coffee. Watching sacks being loaded, she silently wished to recover soon and return to the fields. Though her ankle still ached, her heart felt unusually warm, comforted by the kindness of those around her. While resting, the sound of a motorbike rumbled from afar. Recognizing it, Miss Kwa smiled. "Looks like Tan is here." Indeed, Tan rode up the hill, carrying water and bread to share. But seeing Han pale and injured, he rushed over. "What happened? Are you hurt?" Han forced a small smile. "I just twisted my ankle. It's nothing." He frowned, lowering himself to inspect it. The ankle was swollen and red. When he touched it gently, she winced. He sighed, eyes full of worry and affection. "You call this nothing? You're just picking coffee, not fighting a war. You need to take care of yourself." Miss Kwa chuckled. She loves working. Probably slipped on the slope. Immediately, Tan stood. "I'll get some herbs. There are wild beetle leaves and spiny amaranth here. They'll help with swelling." He wandered to the forest edge, soon returning with a bundle of fresh leaves. He rinsed, crushed, and pressed them carefully on her ankle. His movements practiced, gentle. Han watched him, moved. Despite being deep in the mountains with no medicine, his presence alone soothed her. "Keep it on for 10 minutes. I'll take you home." "I can still help," she murmured. He shot her a look. "Help? You can barely stand." Miss Kwa laughed. "Listen to him. You can come back tomorrow when you're better." Han nodded. After the herbal compress, Tan crouched and turned his back to her. "Come on. I'll carry you." "No. I can. No arguments. If you keep walking, it'll swell more." With no choice, she wrapped her arms around his shoulders. He lifted her gently and began descending the slope. On his back, she could hear his steady breath and smell the sun-warmed scent of his shirt, somehow calming. Miss Kwa called after them. "Take her home. I'll check on her tomorrow." Tan nodded. He walked carefully. Wind rustled the treetops. Now and then he asked softly, "Does it still hurt?" "It's better," she whispered. He tightened his grip slightly, as if promising to keep her safe. Behind them, the hillside still echoed with laughter. The sweet coffee aroma drifted across the golden afternoon. But for Han, being carried on Tana's back through the vast mountains was the warmest moment of all. Perhaps this year's coffee season would be more special than ever. Tan carried Han down the slope, helped her onto the motorbike and drove slowly home. The mountain road was bumpy, but he rode carefully, afraid any jolt would worsen her pain. On the way, Han leaned quietly against his back, feeling the ache in her ankle ease bit by bit. Her hair fluttered in the wind, brushing his shoulder, making his heart stir without warning. When they reached the small house in the village, Tan supported Han into the living room. The space was tidy with a faint scent of pine, warm and comforting. He pulled out a chair for her to sit, then headed to the kitchen to rummage around. "What are you doing?" Han asked softly. "Warming some water to compress your ankle. And I'll make a little ginger drink to warm your stomach." Han just watched his busy back in the kitchen, eyes a little red. She wasn't used to being taken care of so carefully, least of all by Tan, whom she had always thought was the kind of man who only focused on work and rarely showed his feelings. A moment later, Tan brought out a basin of warm water. He sat in front of her, gently removed the cloth around her ankle, and checked it again. The swelling was still there but less red. He carefully placed her foot into the basin. "If it's too hot, tell me." The warmth spread, easing the pain. Tan kept dipping a towel and laying it over her ankle. Han pressed her lips together and murmured, "Thank you. I'm troubling you." Tan looked up and met her eyes, his voice low and steady. "It's no trouble. You're hurt, of course I'll worry." Flustered, Han turned her face away. After a while, Tan went back to the kitchen. The clacking of knife against cutting board rang out, and the scent of ginger and lime leaves drifted through the house. Soon he returned with a steaming bowl of porridge. "Eat this to warm up, then take the medicine. I've got herbal oil too. I'll massage it in to ease the pain." Han chuckled. "You sure know what you're doing. I've twisted my ankle before. Once is enough to remember for life." He sat opposite her, watching as she ate. Each spoonful slid down warm. The gentle heat of ginger spread from her throat to her chest. Simple as it was, every step showed such clear care. As she ate, she stole glances at him now and then. His eyes were soft and patient, not at all like the cool, reserved look he showed to strangers. When she finished, Tan propped her foot up on a soft pillow, then gently rubbed herbal oil around her ankle. His fingers were warm. Wherever they touched seemed to hurt less. Looking down, Han spoke quietly. "It's been a long time since anyone has cared for me like this." He paused and looked up. "From now on, lean on me. You don't have to shoulder everything alone." Han froze. Her heart began to beat faster than usual. The simple words seemed to touch the softest place in her heart. Outside the window, late sunlight fell softly on the freshly harvested coffee garden. The scent of earth and leaves brought a quiet peace. In the small house among the mountains, two people sat close, one carefully massaging an ankle, the other quietly watching, letting warmth spread to every corner of their hearts. Perhaps the coffee season brings more than a good harvest. It also brings gentle, unforgettable stirrings. The afternoon drifted by in calm. Han still lay on the long couch in the living room, her foot propped on a soft pillow, while Tan busied himself in the kitchen preparing warm water and herbs for another compress. The last light of day slipped through the window sill, bathing the room in a soft golden hue. Just then, a motorbike stopped outside, followed by a familiar call. "Hun, are you home?" Han looked up in surprise. Tan went to open the door. It was Miss Men, a close sisterly friend in the village, someone who had also gone coffee picking with Han several times. In her hands was a small basket filled with medicinal leaves and fresh ginger. As soon as she stepped in, she exclaimed, "Heavens! I heard you twisted your ankle, so I came right away. I went up the hill this afternoon and didn't see you. Got worried." Ton smiled in greeting and let her in. Han smiled sheepishly. I slipped near the slope. Ton brought me home and has been taking care of me all afternoon. Miss Men glanced at Han, then at Ton, nodding meaningfully. Good, then I'm relieved. Thank goodness someone carried you back. Otherwise you'd still be up on that hill crying. Han flushed. I wasn't crying, sis. Miss Men laughed and sat down beside her. Oh, don't deny it. Anyone would feel awful after a fall. But truly, having someone take such careful care of you is a blessing. You know? Opposite them, Ton pretended to fuss with a towel, but the tips of his ears had turned a little red. Miss Men opened the basket and took out freshly picked dew-wet leaves. I brought some bone pain leaves and spiny amaranth. Apply more to reduce swelling. Let me bandage you a bit. Yes, please. Ton helped prepare warm water. Watching the two of them work and chat so naturally, Han suddenly felt her heart warm through. With gentle hands, Miss Men applied the herbal paste to Han's ankle and wrapped it neatly with a clean cloth. Try not to walk much tonight. If it still hurts tomorrow, tell me. I'll get more medicine from the village. Then she glanced at Ton and squinted playfully. Are you staying here, Ton? Good. With a man in the house to look after her, I won't worry. At those words, Han's heart nearly leapt from her chest. Ton answered softly. Yes. I can take care of Han. Miss Men laughed. Oh, sounds like you're taking very good care of her. I heard you even cooked porridge. Han lowered her head, twisting the hem of her shirt. He made me eat so I'd get better. All the better. Miss Men burst out laughing. Why the blush? That's genuine care. Flustered, Ton stood to pour tea. Let me get you something to drink. Taking the cup, Miss Men looked at the two of them leisurely. You two are a good match. Everyone in the village says so. Same temperament, kind-hearted. Anyone can see it. Han's eyes widen. Who said that? Plenty of people. Didn't you hear? They're saying it won't be long before you're a couple. Han went still, and at that moment Ton inadvertently glanced her way. Their eyes met, flustered, then quietly looked away. Seeing this, Miss Men laughed brightly. All right, I'll stop. In any case, having a good person by your side is a blessing. Cherish it, okay? She stood, adjusted the strap of her basket. I'll head out. Call me if you need anything. I'll come right over. Before leaving, she turned back with a teasing smile. Remember, don't make someone worry, and don't make someone sad. The door closed softly. Silence settled in. Han looked at Ton and Ton looked at Han. Neither spoke first, but both hearts trembled gently. Outside, the evening light had faded. Only the highland wind wandered through the coffee trees in the yard, as if to remind them that some things arrive so quietly, yet linger so deeply.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Hiện tại thì video của mình vẫn đang kể về câu chuyện của người mẹ đơn thân Diệu Hân. Và trong suốt thời gian vừa qua, mình cảm ơn mọi người vì đã ủng hộ những video của mình, ủng hộ người mẹ đơn thân Diệu Hân trong suốt quá trình mà Hân vất vả, mưu sinh và để có một cuộc sống tốt đẹp hơn. Hiện tại những video của Diệu Hân đã được phát hành vào khung giờ 7 giờ tối tại Việt Nam. Mọi người nhớ chú ý đón xem nha. Mình hy vọng rằng mọi người sẽ để lại cho mình một số bình luận ở phía dưới để mình có thể cải thiện những video sau hay và hấp dẫn hơn để cho mọi người cùng xem. Mình rất hy vọng rằng những câu chuyện của mình mang đến sẽ tạo niềm vui cho mọi người mỗi khi xem và giúp mình có động lực hơn để xây nhiều video hơn cho mọi người cùng xem. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở video lần sau nhé.